Wolf was like, now I don't know about anyone else, but when I hear grab a cactus, I immediately think about shoving it somewhere it shouldn't go. That's a bad. You don't want to do that. You will suffer. It is just...
Yeah, you gotta practice.
Do you want to know what Asmodeus' circle of hell is like? Because you'll find out.
Anyway, moving right along.
Well, if it's not that, it's a pineapple going the wrong way, so... So yeah, so hi everyone.
I got the maid's outfit right there.
We are
Hi everybody.
yeah, we're back.
Fucking
We're cool. You cool? We're cool. You cool?
And there goes our one.
I already used it.
Yeah, that was used up.
That's twice.
All right, end the
It's one of
stream.
those days.
Shut it
Yeah,
down.
I just gotta shut it down, everyone. We meet so soon to part. Oh, that's good cake. All right. Well,
want dessert.
I have
I have grapes.
a drink. I have cake. I have the friendship, the companionship, and the understanding of a magnificent group of players. And of course, for all of you that are spending your Tuesday evening here, thank you all out there in audience land for wanting to sit at the table. Even though we're a bunch of weirdos and sometimes we forget how to play D&D, we is me. It's the royal we. But
Derek, you know you're a weirdo. Come on.
Hey,
You and I
I
both
am
know.
Oh no, I am no weirdo. Okay, I'm deranged.
Yeah, we are the deranged.
Rain.
well,
Yeah.
you know, even saying a weirdo though indicates that he is one of many, and
One
not
of
like
many.
the template from which all have been wrought.
Home and deranged.
Deranged.
So yes, we're back from break. I hope you all had a good one there. Let me catch up, make sure I didn't miss anything out there in chat. Raven, you were enjoying the tavern sound. Well, it's a very good. I do want to try and create an atmosphere, so I'm glad that you're enjoying that. I did. I guess it switched to an ASMR stream. Says Fluffy. Black Wolf. Is everything settled for you, Black Wolf? Zenith Dante, wash your hands, of course. My hands, well, they don't smell too much, like a little bit like cake, because I had to like cut the slice and then, you know. But otherwise, they smell like apple. It's a nice foaming. It's a nice, when you squirt it out, it foams. So, of course. Agent of Chaos is still hanging out with us. Uh-oh, and it looks like Power Level got nuked by the bot. But Power Level, thank you for hanging out, and also for that gift sub to Lethality from earlier. That was very nice of you, Power Level. And of course, Power Level and crew run an actual heads-up D&D game, which I hope you all still get to play. I don't know if you're going to do that because of everything going around. But anyway, all right. Lurker signing in. Hey, Greenwald, you're welcome to lurk. And Shade Mage is here too. Yep. Hey, Shade, do what you got to do. This can always be watched later as a VOD or on YouTube, and you know, we'll at your own pace.
Nice thing about Matty's games, they're all on YouTube.
Including last week's. They're on YouTube. They just haven't been published because I haven't tagged them yet. That being said, I also need to cycle the 2-word adventure, and no, I'm getting myself.
No.
I'm piling too much.
You
We're here to play
need
D&D, and we're gonna do that.
Take a break.
Yes.
One step at a time.
Yep, no problem, Black Wolf. All right, so we have the crew. Well, the passengers. That's the big world map. I have an animated background. There we go. So I might as well use it here. So you all end up, after 2 days of background information, you're back aboard the Lely Wellens Gamble, and you're going to be spending a little less than a week going north, so that you can then turn back around and go south, simply because teleportation or magic use on or around the giant crater is not advised. And, you know, using magic at times when the captain calls for no magic would probably see you thrown off the ship in some capacity. If you're like, aha, well, just teleport out of the water, well, then good luck, because then, you'll fireball yourself in the water and not the ship. That could catch on fire.
Not to mention teleportation circle takes 10 minutes to cast.
Yes.
Just saying.
You got to cast it while swimming. That would be kind of difficult.
Yeah, I need a floor.
That's why you need to be 13th levels. Teleport. Don't have to use chalk to draw a circle like a caveman.
So, from here, you all are setting out. What I would like to do, because we still have some time together, you are running Gathering of Nerds tonight, correct, Lethality?
No.
Oh, you're not?
Due to,
Oh.
stamina.
Oh, you cut out. Can you repeat that?
No,
Sorry
it's
about that.
self-censored because we can't say that without being demonetized on YouTube.
So, basically, because of everything going on with that dreaded virus we all know the name of, that sounds like the name of a beer, we are cancelling this week so that we can prepare to change our one-shots to an online capacity. Although,
Makes sense.
I will note, for the two people who are in our stream currently, who are going to be doing a particular thing with me come Monday night your time, Tuesday afternoon my time, that is still going ahead as normal,
Okay.
barring anything else that may happen with you guys. So, that's something that you can look forward to. Actually, can I make that announcement here, Maddie? Before we...
Gathering of Nerds
before we
Sure.
continue?
Yeah, we're
So,
in Table Talk ramping back up into a, meanwhile, across Mesotopia.
Yes. So, one thing that I am getting set up, and I hope to have running next week, barring any bad stuff like my computer dying or something like that, is a Vampire the Masquerade game set in the wonderful river city of Brisbane. Brisbane by Night, River City Secrets, coming to you this coming Monday night. Hopefully. Probably.
Monday night
Yes.
US time, yes.
Yes, Monday night US time. It'll start around the same time that Maddie's stream would normally start on a Tuesday going forward, or maybe an hour earlier. I'll have a chat with the people and see.
It's going to be at about the same time, 10
It's
10 p.m.
10 Central.
Standard Time.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that being said, for those of you wondering, since Drawing on the Macabre happens on Mondays, that will be moved to Thursdays.
As will Caffeine Fix.
As will Caffeine Fix. So you get the double team of between. So we got a nice little network thing going on now.
Yes. Gathering of Nerds content Monday nights.
As long as you still have your tails, you can do the fusion dance.
I can't. I don't.
That's naughty. I like it. But no, that's the announcement. So, meanwhile, across Mesotopia.
All right, then we are going to. We're going here, specifically to the island of Mesomasca, which is the entrance and the exit here to this region. At least it's a very common one. And where we are going to focus on this next segment of downtime for investigator Jaden Stillwaters, who I got to get that emote switched over to Jaden since we chose. By the way, did you see that I filled in your character information on the splash screen or on the lobby? No? Okay.
Nope, can't say I did.
I hope that works for you. If not, let me know.
Yes. Human. Fighter.
Okay.
Human, possible plural, humans.
Jaden identifies as a threat.
I like that. I like that. Jaden's figured it out. I haven't.
So, well, it's an ongoing process. But right now, whomever, whatever, You have had an excellent time in that casino. That was a ton of fun. And so, riding on the heels of that, you had resolved. You had given the seed money back to Miss Crumb. However, you did keep a portion for yourself. Oh yes, very generous interest at that. And you also did obtain that suit of armor that your father's friend was holding on to from their days of being sort of, gumshoes walking the beat. They saved their money for like, something cool, invested in it, and then just, I don't know, it was too expensive, or I don't know. We could have a fun little history about what happened to this armor that it was sort of mothballed for a while. However, you did end up with a very nice piece. However, we got to talk about that still. So both in fairness and consistency to Coffee Cat, we're gonna have to maybe talk about your wish list for your armor.
You're grateful I will not be here attempting to murder hobo at this current time, right? Don't
now
force
you
it,
say
man.
that, but what's your passive percent? No, it's just
15.
Run a combat.
damn it! I'm gonna double down on this, and if I'm jumping the shark, I'm gonna go for the world record and do 2 tanks.
Oh please! I've already done 6 in one sitting.
Oh hi. Apparently, a stray cat crosses your path.
The Eye of Sauron is about to appear.
Yes.
Okay.
So yes,
yes.
you have resolution for this. I mean, you want it back. You did. You have some names floating about. Well-to-do or authoritative Shadowheart agents here in Mask of Horns. Though of course you know that that in Oldport, that seems to be where they're. I think you're the one who first called it a beachhead, and honestly, that's probably not too far from the truth. That's where the beachhead is. You did not learn about the person who supplied the armor, and so somewhere out there is some kind of a master thief. If that is of interest to you to investigate or to pursue who could have been behind such a thing. Otherwise, honestly, Jaden, this is whatever interests or presses upon you, because there's all kinds of societal needs, little and personal ones. Your call here. What would you like to pursue?
Well, at this point, I end up keeping to a certain degree of professionalism. While I myself might not be the individual I was, it doesn't stop me from believing in the duty I have to maintain. I would say that the best way to describe my current position is a independent investigator of sorts. A II, if you will. And
I like it.
And if I can end up finding anything involving this individual or their particular network, then I'm certainly will end up looking into it. It's something that needs to be dealt with in one manner or another, and more concerned is what it might mean for the entirety of Mask of Horns. I'm specifically concerned when it ends up coming down to what that may mean, whether it is used as a bipartisan threat, or actually affects the Shadowheart Empire or the rest of Mesomaska. Either way, it's something worth investigating. I also have to wait in this town until the arrival of my compatriots who know where I'm going to be, so unfortunately travel is not an option at this given time. So, I will be making it a point to stop by the Tumbled Wench, end up catching rumor and discussion and seeing what's going down. But I will be staying specifically at the establishment that the dear lady here, Miss Quam, has done. I am doing so specifically to make sure that she keeps up appearances and to try and end up showing a measure of trust. She has earned it, to at least as far as I've been able to see. And I wish to end up knowing more about her people, specifically those who are looking about, what sort of threat they are. I'm hoping that Miss Quam is not so far gone as to, well, start producing a plague upon this city of her own kind. I'm trying to treat her as a proper human being, though it is very difficult to not think of her as some form of diseased leper at this point. But I managed to get past it with Mr. Silverleaf, so... and he is proven to be a cut above a diseased leper. So, we're trying.
Okay.
There's a lot to unpack in that, I know.
No, it's I get the
Think of
situation.
it as an itinerary. So, out of all that, what catches the interest? What would you like to end up going through?
Well, there's tangents from the itinerary or the things that you're doing. Honestly, there's nothing saying that you can't just exist. I mean, you have a penthouse. You can always just take it easy. I mean, it doesn't mean you're not out, doing things, but, you're not doing anything active. I wouldn't have you roll through, pit fighting, or to have you pit fight.
Let's not forget about the pit fighting.
But, you could always get into a pit fight if you want to.
But I'm getting really nervous around trees for some reason.
Of course, the tumbled wench, your father gave you advice that if you're ever in need, you should go there. And there is, there are some things afoot, as his friend told you that there are certain fraternal orders that was put in the cloak and dagger kind of thieves guilds and whatnot. There are certain fraternal orders that are engaging in a war, almost like not quite cold, because certainly the blood spilled is warm. But they're not waging open war, but they're certainly in a contest amongst each other. There seems to be some kind of a in the underworld. There is something happening where orders are being shifted and condensed, and of course, a lot of goods, probably a lot of fences. You encountered the thief who stole that expensive armor, who broke in, but of course with all the Shadowheart goods, let alone things like forgeries. I mean, it's both a high time for crime, but it's very dangerous, even amongst criminals, to be a criminal, because there's a lot of jockeying and power plays that are apparently going on. But the police, the official police, aren't gonna care if thieves are cutting their own throats. There's way more other things they got to worry about right now. That said, there's got to be a reason why thieves are cutting their own throats. Especially if we're talking about some sort of a war between these fraternal orders. So there's that can be investigated or researched in some way.
Which also goes into the investigation as to the stolen armor and the exact purpose as to why that was stolen. And not only is it gutsy to end up doing so, but it's a relatively hefty piece. So the truth of the matter is that requires a skill set, I might add, that is still very much active in this city. And Kat, why are you putting your claws into my leg?
The eternal question.
Yeah.
You can also, I mean, if you're going to go into a service of being an independent investigator, you can just establish a business if you'd like to be an investigator for hire.
I would love to when I settle down.
Okay.
But at this point, this is a temporary fixation. I am quite aware of that. Still, if there's anything that I can end up doing for Miss Quam, who has been a gracious host, then I will end up doing so. Outside of that, it is also finding rumors at the tumbled wench and continuing my own personal investigations, finding out rumors on the street and trying to get a better grasp, because at this point the Shadowhar are embedding themselves into the Mesomasca, but that has been going on for centuries in one manner or another. It's from one people to another. So at this point, the question is it actually nefarious, or is this how we start to build an olive branch where trade and exchange of culture begins? The question is which way does it sway?
Well, a freebie, we don't even need to roll or pit fight for it, is you are learning more about the... now that you have some downtime here, and of course Miss Crumb is very happy, especially for the extra funds. As you had seen, she had been renovating the wild cherry, or the wild chewy, such as it's labeled, with those two bright red, shiny cherries on the plank outside. And in part of that, she was tearing out the walls and parts of the floor. And interestingly enough, like she's installing pipes everywhere. And Mesotopia, let alone Mesomasca, isn't completely backwards. Where the concept of what is a pipe is completely foreign. But she wants to install it. She wants to install it everywhere. And
this would be for the heating that they are wanting to end up installing.
And that is correct, as you are learning from her, that that burning tower is intended on being a source of energy and heat. Most notably through its prodigious ability to just produce unlimited amounts of steam.
It's practically urgent.
Why, yes. Yes. Very urgent energy.
Wow.
And so she's getting ready, and she'll even tell you. She'll sit down. You have time for tea and biscuits. Well, I mean, you do. She can't really eat them, or at least not enjoy them. But there is a similar. There are similar systems that are in the Shadowhar Empire, especially due to their location further north than, I mean, it's not that you don't get cold winters, but we're talking more, Mesotopia is more of a Mediterranean region. And so it can still get cold in the winter, but we're not talking like what they're going to get further north. And so they have up there, they have geothermal heating. They have vents that they tap into, and every house has heating. Otherwise, it's rough. You're gonna die.
Well, I was told that the Shadowhar is very much a desert, and often they would often have to be concerned with cooling. That, and if I understand this, Miss Quum's entire clientele, the Lady Quum's clientele, almost all of the living impaired. I do apologize. I am still trying to perfect the accent.
Well, hey, if you learning an accent or a language is a perfectly viable downtime activity as well. Just to throw that out there. You have a tutor.
Why do you think I'm speaking like that?
Exactly. So you, boy, your tail, ma'am, you're bapping both cameras and my eyeballs.
Hacking and whacking, slapping.
Yeah.
Hack,
Let's
whack,
get this back.
chopping that cam.
All right, I think we're cool. I mean, otherwise I'm just gonna have to sacrifice Kalima. All right.
I'm
we
on
learn our
Shivai.
lesson?
I'm on Shivai. I'm on Shivai.
Yeah. So
Lily too.
So it would seem that the infiltration of Shadowhar concepts in civil engineering has convinced the people here of Mask of Horns, well, if you have a giant burning tower, why not use it? And so this has been a cooperation between Shadowhar investors and, of course, a city that would love to have an entire block be not only rebuilt, but made into a valuable resource that the city can tap into, and have this this power, this steam, not only go through to heat buildings, but apparently there's there's other uses. If the steam is blowing through pipes and other confined spaces, you can harness mechanical energy from it, and so
What wonderful wonders that the Shadowhawk bring. It is marvel to behold.
And she'll tell you about her home as well. In that regard, I mean, you'll she'll paint you little picturesque scenes, like kind of like what you see here. It's not quite like this, structurally, but she'll tell you what it's like, and suddenly, I mean, yeah, they're the enemy, but they are also people like anyone else. And in fact, because you can relate in Mesomasca, the Shadowhar Empire is made of a very similar blend to the population here of humans and tieflings, uncannily so, which has been a source of speculation, causing some dissension amongst the countries that form Mesotopia, because there are rumors of Mesomasca kind of being I don't want to say a traitor, but like a sellout, or they're not really resisting. They're actually like extending the olive branch. They're wanting to cooperate, and so there's kind of a distrust, because you have, well, the people of Mesomasca are pretty much, that's where the pilgrims, the immigrants from Shadowhar had come down. This was sort of like it was the beachhead to the rest of Mesotopia, and now it just seems like, well, the leadership is given into this pretty handedly. So it's causing, I mean, you're on the street, there's no roles needed. There's all kinds of rumors regarding power plays, and this is even in the government. We're not even talking about the thieves guilds that are having their own shakeup. We're talking the leaders of the various places here in Mesomasca are almost like, yes, like we welcome our new Shadowhar, our new / old Shadowhar Empire. Or it's that moment in Men in Black.
Our demonic overlords.
Yeah,
and their new reign.
Or it's the moment from Men in Black where Kay's like, "Eat me," and it's just like offering himself to the giant roach, like, "Eat me," and so like they're primed for this because maybe they see that this is what the future holds. But we'll see, I guess, where this could go. Because, I don't know, it is a controversial source of energy. Beyond the fact that tieflings are still... There is a wall that has been built around, and of course there are some pipes that are being installed. But, that beacon still does draw tieflings to it. And so there's a presence that has had to kind of, move along, to keep them going. There was even someone who... was last seen crawling into a pipe that would, go through the wall onto the inside.
Was the pipe perfectly shaped for that particular tiefling?
Not perfectly, no. It was a squeeze, but certainly it would have been...
I was concerned that it was waiting for him. It was his pipe.
Not that perfect, unfortunately, or fortunately. Though it still would have been disturbingly, it would have been a real tough, crawl, so this person must have had zero claustrophobia.
Shawshank Redemption.
Or in Aliens when Bishop's crawling through the tunnel to get to the communication relay.
The difference is one is forearm over forearm. The other one is this shuffling of forearms.
Oh.
So that's the key difference in the pipe layout.
Whichever one makes you pucker up the most, that's what it was.
Fair enough. This is the longest coffin I've ever been in. You've been in more.
It's been an ongoing concern, and why it's specifically affecting the tieflings, which do include Shadowheart tieflings as well. It's not just Mesomaskin.
I would hazard a guess that would have to be with the source of the fire. Probably a demonic or devil based fire. Fire. How would that be pronounced?
Fire.
Fire. Ah, thank you. That would end up meaning that maybe they're being drawn. It is said, after all, that they were all in some way inflicted with the curse of the things that are not natural to this world. Still, unfortunately, I am not very good at anything involving that particular notion. So I will continue to investigate the Thieves Guild once I've had my tea with Miss Crumb and double-checking her own lodgings and the restructuring and trying to understand her true clientele. Making a note of names, faces, those who just wish them well. And should I encounter them in my own encounters, I know exactly what I'm dealing with.
All right.
Because after all, my father would end up saying such individuals you would need to burn the sin out of. I'm not quite as extreme as him.
Let's do this then. And if there's more, the things that we've been discussing or even getting into are. This is stuff that there's no real need to have a bunch of roles or a series, as this is. You have a contact who's already contracting for this work. She's familiar with it culturally. She may not know to tell you these things because she either presumes or it doesn't come to her mind. So if there is things that, you'd want to ask that could be just circumstantial or just like it's a part of what's going on, you can prompt it and she can most likely give you an answer without needing to. But if you want to go for like deep lore, then we would be...
The problem is we're not playing the right game and I'm not playing the right character for that.
Okay.
Because otherwise, the first question is, where are you getting the steel?
There's a whole supply chain, and a part of that supply chain is, despite it's only been a couple months since you disappeared. It does appear that there have been ships just laden with pipes as well that have been coming into port.
How long is the trip to get out to the Shadowheart Empire from here, by boat?
Favorable weather, it'd be probably... Oh, geez.
Got to be at least a month.
About a month, yeah.
Now, that would be suspicious.
Yes.
That would imply that they were ready to end up bringing in all this piping before the incident happened. Now we're on to something.
Yes. And the Shadowheart Empire as well is very mountainous, and it is a native home to dwarves.
So, people from Browbeat might actually be descendants of individuals from Shadowheart.
Yes, be they human or even the small dwarven minority. Shadowheart when they established themselves as such, ended up occupying and growing around the dwarves. And so, in a kind of in an out-of-game context, it would be similar to many of the Western world's histories where you had the natives that lived there, and then others had come in and established around them and said, well, that's fine, you can live where you're at, but we're going to take over everywhere else. And also we're going to be into this kind of, forced working together. And so the dwarves have been a big supplier of Shadowheart. There's been, they're their own people, but they are within the Empire and therefore associated. Just how various tribal nations are technically their own nation, but we share federal rules or whatever the equivalent up in Canada may be for First People, I think is the term for north of the border. So yeah, I mean they are their own people, but they are Shadowheart because everywhere else around them is Shadowheart, and their crafts go towards Shadowheart, expansion. It's an empire for a reason. They've taken over many different cultures.
Well, the first thing I would probably do once I'm finished up, I definitely need thieves right now. I definitely need thieves. I need infiltrators. I need individuals who are capable of earning a substantial amount. So what I am going to do is head towards the tavern, specifically to try and get information on the said thieves, trying to figure out what side's working for what are their angles, trying and figuring out which one would best align with the purposes needed. Because I need infiltrators who can actually get that sort of information. That being said, I need to also end up visiting, I need to end up doing some checking on some equipment later on. Just regular stuff, though, given the level of technology in Mesomask, now being introduced to Mesomask, I imagine a few magical trinkets and what have you might also be available. We'll find out.
Okay. Then let's have you do some resource gathering as you're trying to build this information network. So you're going to find yourself at the Tumbled Wench. And this is by any accounts, this is it's a reputable place. Any town that's a town has a Tumbled Wench. Though it might appear that this is a front for various syndicates as well. And so you're going to be spending your time here asking the right questions, providing certain consistencies for those who might be looking for opportunity. I mean, you are, but for those who are looking for opportunities to join orders, or for an order to perhaps approach someone to recruit. It's not exactly like the whole, don't look at someone in a bar in Japan because then you're recruited into the Yakuza. But, there's similar social signals that can be given out that you are aware of from your own law enforcement exposure. But we're definitely going to be doing some carousing, and not the type of carousing that perhaps can be done on Lellywellen's Gamble. Meanwhile, across Mesotopia, since they're staying in the upper echelons, you instead have friends in low places. Where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases the blues away, and it'll be okay. Now, you ain't big on social graces, but I think you'll slip on down to the Oasis. So let's see if you have friends in low places.
So, what would you like me to roll again?
Very good. We are going to do a lower class carousing, and this is going to be a. Oh my goodness, we have another raid and host. Well, so iTyrant, by the way, thank you iTyrant Games for the raid, and also to D20 TV, D_20 TV. Give a shout out. Thank you very much. Man, bunch of nerds enjoying D&D, and then you come and raid us? Thank you. Nah. No, thank you. I hope you all had fun games, and take a seat and relax. Decompress after your game. Do what you got to do here. We're gonna be doing some carousing. Now, traditionally, and by that I mean as it's in Xanathar's guide here, it does talk about charisma persuasion being the key skill. Though, if you have a proposal, modest or otherwise, then I would be willing to entertain that idea.
Nope.
All right. Well, then you are floating a +1 from Kitty Bird the Shiny if you did want to use it.
That ain't gonna change a 2 and a 2.
Oh, I didn't even see that. All right. So, at least in this first attempt at fishing for information or agents, no one seems to be biting. You're not. Maybe the activity is taking place at another location, or I don't know if people, could people be onto you, or it could be a variety of legitimate reasons, not just like a paranoid what if. Sometimes we need that consistency, though. We got to have the rock to that pillar to lean on, and in great times of need, we need to know that there's sanity out there.
Yes, we know that there's sanity. Derek will never roll above 10. Oh, dude. No, that's an exaggeration. I tend to roll above 10 about 3 times a month.
Now, something will come of this, though, and in particular, I need you to roll a d8.
Did it just mute as soon as he said what I was supposed to roll as well?
D8. Oh, is it cutting out? I'm sorry.
You cut out. I need you to roll blank.
Oh, I'm just being a tease. I need you to roll a d8, please. Oh, an 8.
No bestial crit. No bestial crit. No
let's
bestial
see.
Crit. Oh, wait. Sorry.
So we're going to interpret this as everyone is calling you by some weird, embarrassing nickname like Puddle Drinker or Bench Slayer, and no one will say why. So now the question is, what did you do in this downtime hanging out at the Wench, looking for people to recruit, that suddenly, all the regulars at the Tumbled Wench have given you...
It's Bench Slayer. I just got a kick out of that. It's funny.
Very well. Apparently I am responsible for slaying a bench.
People could call you, I don't know, Green Tongue for some reason. Maybe you had a piece of cake that dyed your tongue green and everyone saw...
Let's see where this is going.
You had a green tongue. Or if you want to be a bench slayer, you can. I am imposing the fact that all the regulars here have called the new girl starting to hang out and wanting to become a regular. You're earning your bar name. How about that? What are you known as here, and why?
I am having a hard time with this one.
Well, I'll tell you what. If inspiration hints, do you have them?
No. Clickety clank, because the armor I inherited is not something that is designed to fit for me appropriately. So wherever I walk, there's a clink, 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 clink. It's like a can. It's like a small stone in a pop can. Just wherever it goes, just keeps making noise.
Okay. Hey, that works, because at most evenings you're probably the only person wearing armor in this place, and so you kind of stand out anyway. So, not
Your
everyone.
Name is Chink.
Or we got to find your weakness.
I don't think I'm allowed to say that one on Twitch, but okay.
It could. Well, In context, we all know what that means, and it's a legitimate word for that purpose. I was thinking if you're not playing a goblin, otherwise Click Clack would be even better, because you'd be like the Click Clack math rock person. But still, sure. You have this armor. You're wearing it, of course.
No, I got it. I got it. And it's in reference specifically to Dark Wolf.
Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, Jaden is effectively a tiny stick figure, right?
Okay.
They're called Boulder.
Oh, Boulder. Like the boulder?
Like, he lift overhead image. Yes, I still have that image. Yeah, Dark Wolf.
Okay, so it's an ironic name because you're a
Absolutely
live figure, but people are calling you like
tiny.
because you're okay. Oh yeah, so it's like calling a big person tiny. You're called Boulder.
Yeah.
All right, very well. Then yeah, everyone, you start coming in, and after a while, a couple people are like, oh, watch out, it's the Boulder. She's come rolling in, you hear like a couple people like, watch out, I bet the Boulder's got a crush
That's the
on ya.
reason I think. Everybody else has a different reason.
Oh,
because of
oh,
course
shoot,
they do,
yeah.
Because I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, so it actually you take that as a compliment, like, yeah, I'm a strong Boulder, but instead they're okay.
They're just like, yeah,
Instead
sure,
of being
that's what it
picky.
means.
All right, sure. No one at the bar, no one at the bar is going to tell you otherwise. So yeah, you come strutting in. Oh yeah, the Boulder's here, and everyone at the bar is just cracking up. Yeah, you sure are. All right. So this, unfortunately, well, hey, you know what? If you caught a fish every time you went out fishing, it'd be called catching instead. So instead, you've just been fishing to no avail here. But you know what? It so happens that downtime is a wonderful and open time, so we can move into a secondary segment if you wish to. If you wish to continue the same action, you can, or you can choose something else in this next unit of time.
I will choose the same because Jaden's just socially awkward. They come across like almost every time they're just emotionally flat, like almost to a boring degree.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Told you I still had it.
All right. Well. So we broke 2. Handedly, we broke 2.
Yeah, please file the the necessary emotional response forms.
All right. You are going to get an option here. You are going to have made an allied contact, and just straight up, you can say, I want this, and I'm fine. Or, I will appeal, I will pander, if you will. Because what is interaction on this channel if not pandering? I will pander to you as a storyteller, and allow you to make a second contact if you're willing to have some other complication come up, which may explain how you overreached. You're going to get 2 contacts instead of 1, but something else may happen. And it could be another unfortunate nickname, or it could be something else. But that is your call.
I know better than to end up trying to go for 2. I know this. I know this is going to fail. But I'm going to do it anyway because I'm an idiot.
All right. So
I'm a useless moron, and I know this. So we're just going to end up overreaching and fail this check.
You made one allied contact, and you are getting the second, but it will come at a particular cost, as you might need to prove yourself, or otherwise you would. this is the presumption that you believe in the ally. All reasonable attempts at investigation are showing that you're not just, whatever, wasting your time. But I do need you to roll another d8, please. Three. All right, Jaden. You have fuzzy memories of doing something very, very illegal, but can't remember exactly what.
I don't know why, but for some odd reason there was a bit of drool in my mouth and my tongue's green now.
And we can, so something, we can actually roleplay with this, both with that description and the fact that you might have had you had a little, we'll use the gnomish term, a little fuzzy wuzzy.
That was a unique experience.
So, amongst the ladies and gentlemen, you would have been introduced by, let's say, even by your first allied contact, that we can go and flesh out, but right now, placeholder is allied contact. And when you remember meeting, of all interesting people, the head chef of the Tumbled Wench. The Tumbled Wench is known for decent food. It's not a several star establishment, but it's not terrible. Pretty consistent. You pretty much can get, a good meal anywhere you go. And and so the ally, after entrusting you, probably saw that you're called these names. Probably might have even been the one that started it, but saw that you keep, like a good boulder, you keep rolling with it. And so eventually, you were propositioned that you should meet the head chef of this Tumbled Wench. And, he's a person who knows how to get things. Oh, of course that makes sense to investigator. You got to know where to procure the freshest ingredients, and et cetera and so forth. You remember meeting the head chef here, and a conversation ensued that seemed favorable. You do remember something about a knife. And then there was just this kind of blackness that kind of like enfolded around you.
Why do I remember a spoon?
And so you wake up the next day, you're still alive. You have apparently impressed upon this head chef something about a knife. But you have fuzzy memories of doing something very, very illegal, but can't remember exactly what.
Well, certainly that won't come back to haunt me anytime soon.
Clearly not. And by that, can you, I want you to pick high or low.
We pick high.
All right. Okay.
Perfect.
So shortly, maybe not the same day, you're having to ruminate on this. That weird, that taste in your mouth, or the weird, there was something that happened. And at some point, Miss Crumb comes to you, and she's kind of concerned. And she said that one of the guests in her hotel has gone missing.
Well, that looks like I'm going to have to end up looking into that now. Okay.
And you do, and I won't even need another roll. You did pretty well with your high roll. It takes a little bit of time. You follow her, where does he kind of hang out if he's not staying at the hotel?
Yeah. Is he amongst the living impaired?
No. In fact, this character is quite actually dead. Well, yeah. the person is dead. However, the person is host to new and beautiful life. Why, you see that in an out of the way area, just really just like the seediest back alley that only professionals might know to take someone. You find that there is a body that has vines just sprouting out of it. I mean, it's almost like a human-shaped just plant that people might have even just passed by, not even considering it. It's a back alley, not that people go there, but they're like, it's overgrown. And upon looking, there are these vines that are growing out of a person. Well, used to be a person. Used to be a vampire who used to be a person. But however you process that.
That is a definite interesting way to appropriate fertilizer. Well, of course, I end up double-checking the scene. I am looking for evidence, any form of wounds upon this individual. It might take a bit for me to end up getting through the vines or what have you. I try not to shift too much. I don't want to implicate myself, so I would certainly never do anything illegal.
Of course. You're an investigator. Why would you ever do something like lure someone into a back alley and stab them? That's dumb. So go ahead and make I don't know. I'll take either a medicine or an investigation. Your call.
Medicine or investigation?
Yeah. Your call. Investigate. Oh, yeah. All right. The plants, I don't know. I mean, you've seen all kinds of plants. There's something weird. Like they don't. Obviously, they're in the shape of a body because they're sort of sprouted out of them. But you do find that by tracing the vines, they all seem to be sprouting out of maybe like an 1.5 to 2-inch slash in the person's side.
Well,
And they all kind of like ruptured out and grew and like entwined around, and also kind of hollowed out the body from the nutrients and everything.
Well, the assumption here would be that they were killed, despite the unusual manner. The motive is clear. Well, I shouldn't say clear, but I have to run under the assumption, at least first and foremost, that this was somebody knew that this was a vampire. Now, would it be likely he or she was in this alley hunting? Would that be a likely scenario here? You said it's not exactly a place people check to frequently.
Yeah, I mean, so this would be an alleyway exists for reasons, business access, or it's a trash alleyway, so collectors could come and go. There is some kind of a purpose to it, that even if it's not used often, it's there for a reason. This one, I mean, this would be. Boy, all right. I'm going to just paint it broadly. I want to make sure that I'm not rushing ideas or that I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. This would just not be a heavy foot traffic alleyway. I mean, we're not talking like it's labeled Crime Alley and it's next to a theater. Like, oh, well, what city would allow for something called Crime Alley to exist? But it's an access one, and then behind a building there's like a little out of the way area, probably where ne'er-do-wells might hang out. This person seemed to be like slumped against the wall, so might have been like pinned or like kind of like staggered and fell. But there's no, I mean, there's not like there's blood sprayed everywhere, and
no,
there's no summer flies going around on the corpse or anything. So
But if I had, like, my initial instincts, or at least the theory I'm going on right now, start with the theory, try and end up proving or disproving it, is that this was hunting. Now, assuming the alley and what have you, then that would also imply that, well, they clearly were armed in some capacity, and oddly aware of how to stop something like this, though the methodology is wrong. I've seen.
This may aid. I'm sorry to interrupt. This could aid you in this. In looking through, because you are searching the body, it doesn't appear that this person had been, robbed. There's probably like some loose change, that's there, and you also, you find a whatever. It's our setting. It could be, we're talking about having paper napkins, and this is a weird, kind of Renaissance era setting. But anyway, you find evidence that this tiefling had been to a bar that was known to be more of a dive, like a place where you can go and get your nose punched in, for free. You probably don't even need to ask anyone. But so this is, there's just evidence that he was there. There's no weapons on this person. So some pocket change, presumably wasn't robbed. Was dressed, whatever, kind of normally otherwise. And you do see as well that this tiefling did have pointy teeth. And not just like tiefling might have naturally pointy teeth, but two in particular were catching your attention.
Well, if that's the case, then that would be my next stop. And
let me make this juicier, I'm sorry. He's missing two teeth that are where perhaps pointy would exist.
Well,
there we go. And they do appear to have been torn out.
Okay.
Just those teeth.
If that's the case, then I would probably end up going towards that bar, and I'm specifically looking for individuals who might have left with this individual, or this individual has brought out, or maybe they got in a fight and brought it to the back alley. If it's what I suspect it is, that would end up meaning that whoever it was specifically targeting this individual. Now, whether they knew they were a vampire, that has been cleared. Maybe somebody hunting them.
Okay. Roll I don't know. Yeah, this is more of a seedier place. Like, investigation won't necessarily work, at least not as well here. If you want to be, you don't have to be rough and tumble by, like, holding someone to the wall, but I would accept some kind of a socialization here for getting information in a dive.
Huh.
Persuasion could work as well.
Nope. Intimidation does not work.
Okay. So you come in and you're like, I'm looking for I'm looking for this guy, or are you saying like he owes me money, or are you looking to shake down the place? Or
they don't need to know. They need to know what questions I'm asking.
Okay. So you're coming in and being surly. You're not the first person in this place to do so. And there's a rather haggard-looking waitress who calls over some staff to escort you out. Like, look, buddy, we don't need something like this. Get out of here.
This is one of the patrons, or this is one of the owners slash
Serving girl.
employees. Serving girl. That may be the case, but I am not leaving until I end up getting some answers. The sooner I get answers, the sooner I leave.
She looks over to the two bruisers, who look back at her like, "What do you want us to do?" Because then the bruisers look at you, and it just kind of turns into a Mexican standoff of everyone looking at each other. You're gonna come in here and threaten us? We've had that before. Tell you what, why don't you help replace some of the furniture that other people like you've come in and bust up as they're looking for someone or something, or they just are, too embarrassed and come in here and take it out on other people? Why don't you pay for some repairs and maybe you'll get some information and not get your ass kicked? This ain't no pit fighting scene.
Really, it looked quite the same.
It ain't supposed to be.
And I'm seeing that you're looking at your two here, the two doormen right there. I'm sure they're quite capable. Now, you said that there is ruined furniture. I place a gold coin on the table. Now, it depends on how much that information is worth. I put a second one down. That depends on and how good the information is before he puts the third one, or she puts the third one down. I end up stopping.
And so she's watching you do this. Her eyes go to your coins, go to you. Look over to the two others. Like, well, I don't know, boys. That was our last bench. That was our replacement one. How much do you think one of those go for? And the one's like, well, I don't know. I guess I gotta go to the market and carry it down. And the other bruiser is just kind of scratching his head. Well,
unfortunately, my time is also valuable. I remove a coin. So, perhaps we should stop with the dilly-dallying and trying to end figuring how much you are going to get, because you're losing coins by the moment. Of course, you two can try and take it from me. Go ahead. Take them from me.
The bruisers are counting on their fingers. And while one of them is adding, the other one is also then subtracting. And she looks over at him. 10.
What's the information worth? Who did they leave with? What were they doing here? Who were they interacting with? I place down 20 and immediately take one away, bringing it down to 19.
And this serving girl who has this taste of authority, like, and decision making right now, like the bruisers are looking at her like, what do you want us to do? And all right,
18.
Stop taking coins. Come on.
Hey.
I'll tell you, real weirdo.
Yeah.
Been coming in here, I'll tell you. But don't let people see that you got this sort of money in here. You're liable to get jumped.
I'm counting on it.
Looks to the two bruisers. Puddle Drinker, Bench Slayer. I need you to watch the break room. Okay, ma'am. And as you're passing by, like, they lean over and like, it might not be what you think. I make people drink puddles by holding their faces in them. I thought it was a clever name, but some people seem to find it funny. And the bench slayer says, I know, the same thing for me too. I hit people till they stop moving with the bench. I'm the bench slayer, but I think it's misinterpreted. They thought they were fierce. I know, I did too.
Well, Jaden walks by, kind of looks over, shakes their head. They will never have a name as cool as the Boulder. Those chumps.
All right. So you go back into this break room that the serving girl's in, who very greedily seems to enjoy having close to 20 gold pieces, because that's a lot of money for her, for not a lot of effort that she has to put up with the type of clientele that come in here. And she goes on to tell you that, yeah, there was this weird tiefling that started coming in for the past month and a half or so. Would always seem distressed, kind of confused, kind of flighty and panicky, but he always seemed to have some coin. Though for himself, like, he bought drinks, but he'd always send drinks to other people, and it was always kind of random. He just seemed to, I don't know, want to make friends or something. Always sent a drink over, and it was writing some kind of a note. I don't know. I didn't look. I'm way too busy. But was always just sending drinks to people, and
the notes went with the drink.
Yeah, something. I think. You paid me for my opinion. I'm gonna give it to you, sugar. I think that the Wild Cherry hired him to investigate or not to investigate, to cause some sort of a ruckus between them and the Tumbled Wench. I mean, the Wild Cherry is the new place in town. This guy seemed to really favor it. I don't know what bug crawled up his butt for the Tumbled Wench. Look, I'm not a fan. I also don't work there. This place pays me. It's good enough. But I don't know. It might have been must have rubbed someone the wrong way and ended up getting murked for it. Real weirdo. Didn't really hurt anyone, but you know, I was never concerned for myself, and you know, old bench slayer and puddle drinker didn't have to ever really bounce him.
Someone left with this individual, and either left with them or left immediately after them.
No, a person always seems to get up and just leaves every time I turn my back. Oh yeah, he was in here a couple nights ago. Why? Did you know something? Is he coming back? Is he a nut? Should I keep him out of here?
He removes another coin when she starts asking questions.
Whoa! You're supposed to pay me that. No. And she pokes the table.
I'm asking questions right now. Your concern stops and ends with how well you end up answering them.
All right, well, just put the coin back. I'll answer.
Jaden holds the coin. Stumbling a lot today. I'm having a hard time focusing. Holds the coin and looks at them very carefully. Who did they leave with?
No one. No, this guy, he comes in
alone? Who left immediately after them?
People come and go. I never even see him leave. It just seems like he disappears when I turn my back. He wasn't sitting with anyone. He hasn't been back since that night. Always sits alone. Despite the fact that he sends out these notes.
Is there anybody inside that has received one of these notes?
I don't know. I don't pay attention to that. I'm way too busy serving.
Yes, but in order to end up acquiring tips and trying to end up earning a living requires you to end up being very much on key. Perhaps one of your two associates has seen something. It is worth a gold coin being put back on the stack, isn't it?
I don't know. I wish I could give you information. I'm not. Look, ma'am, I'm not even trying to be coy with you. You're offering to pay me more than a pretty penny. I want to give you more. Look, I never had anything out for the guy. I thought he was a little strange, maybe a little touched in the horns, but I haven't seen him. Hasn't been back. Never saw it with anyone. And it shows, as I'm presenting her, she's obviously ogling the coins. You have her attention there.
Yeah.
Though she's somewhat frustrated because, like, she wants the coins. She's being earnest. Nothing is overtly triggering your BS sensor. But if you want to talk to him, go ahead. I mean, maybe they saw something that I didn't, because I'm going back and forth. But, ma'am, I don't know what you have for this person. I don't know. Maybe he's a lover. Maybe not. Either way, I don't care. I wasn't after him. Not my thing. Though I'll tell you what. They do fun things with their tails. That's besides the point. Now, if you want to talk to the bouncers, then...
Then I believe our business is concluded. I slide the 18 pieces across the table.
Well, hold on. She takes them, and then she'll take 4 coins off and give them back. I want you to give that to Bench Slayer and Puddle Drinker. We wait staff. We watch out for each other. We got to split the tips.
Very well then.
I may work in a place like this, but I at least got a shred of honor.
Few do. And with that, I will go over to Bench Slayer and Puddle Drinker. That'll be down by 10.
Okay. The investigation, the questions are proposed. If you have different ones, otherwise, if you're looking for consistency by asking the same questions of the different people to see if there's a it
Definitely
was
asking.
a chink in the armor from what we're exploring before. If there's a weak spot in the testimonial,
That's what we're doing, and we're also seeing if they know anybody who might have gotten a note, or maybe they themselves received one of these notes.
yeah. So Puddle Drinker speaks up. Well, yeah, you see, I was convincing someone that they can't breathe water on that rainy night not too long ago, and I don't think he'll be coming back and causing trouble anymore. And yeah, there was I saw that weirdo. He's come in, ain't caused too much trouble that we'd have to do much to him. Maybe just scare him a little bit if he was getting too jittery. Well, I remember he was talking to. This was maybe a couple weeks ago by now. I can't help but remember there was another tiefling, blue as the night sky he was, stood out. Lots of it looks over the other one. What's that word? You know, it's for things that are really pretty. And the other one kind of scratches. You mean ostentatious? Oh, thank you. That's ostentatious. Very ostentatious blue fellow.
It's certainly an unnatural color.
Yeah, I guess that fella passed him one. I saw the blue guy. He looked at the napkin before it started getting wet in the rain. I thought, what a fool. And I asked the person that I had his face in the puddle if he thought so too. And then I forgot he couldn't see anything because he was drowning.
You mean attempting to breathe water to prove you wrong?
Oh yeah, I didn't kill him, otherwise he wouldn't learn a lesson.
Very well then. rough around the edges, but it'll work. Very well then. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Placing 2 gold coins in each of their hands.
Whoa, this was easy. I ain't fibbing, but I ain't used to getting paid for information like this.
Well, it helps when people are becoming forthright. And truth of the matter is I'd rather not end up having to end up putting you both into a puddle.
Well, that would be nice.
Maybe some other time I'll come into a ruckus and you can take the excuse.
Well, if you're looking for a ruckus, you just gotta look for Bench Slayer and Puddle Drinker.
Bench Slayer and Puddle Drinker. Very well. I'll keep that in mind. And with that, I am back to the Wild Cherry. I am speaking with Miss Quam and explaining on that, unfortunately, it would appear that her friend, for lack of a better term, would also not be returning. It would seem that his body still has remained undiscovered at this point. He still had all of his gold on him. Wasn't robbed of any finery or anything, but he was robbed of his fangs. Pierced with what I can only assume is a blade, but it would seem that vines would grow around him. Does that sound familiar at all, Miss Quam?
No, I can't say I've heard of this.
Well, it would seem that down by the local watering hole, this friend of yours was buying drinks for quite a few people, which would imply that they ended up having some form of steady income and were also capable of, well, I have to presume feeding. It also ends up letting me know that somebody knew to look for them. Since it wasn't far off, I have to end up concluding that somebody knew and was looking for him. Now, I'm trying to ascertain as to why. It would seem that he was handing out a lot of notes to random patrons as, well, appears to be random, while drinking. Do you understand any of this? Does this sound familiar?
Yeah, he knows who we are and what we do here. I was always a bit hard up on his luck. Wanted to help other people. And from what I understood, he was trying to get the word out that, who we are and what we do. Sorry, I include the accent, but I'm trying to give you a prompt response.
Yeah. Very well then. So if that's the case, then it would seem this note ended up getting to the wrong person. Do you have a copy of any of these notes he would have passed? I'm assuming he wrote quite a few of them, given what I'm hearing.
No, it was just a reference. Something that he just wanted people to come here and to avoid the tumbled wench.
Because you two are at odds, I should say.
Or I suppose we both offer wombs. We both offer food. I haven't gone out of my way to try and disturb the business model of the tumbled wench. We're the new kids in town, especially after the Wii model.
I imagine so. Thank you very much, Miss Crumb. I am almost done with this investigation.
Well, if you find out that anything Well, obviously, I don't want anything to happen to any of our clientele. But if
Of
you do
course.
find out there's some sort of maybe someone who's uh, what would why would the wench even hire someone to do? Is that what you were saying?
No, what
Because
I'm
she seems
saying
honestly
is
baffled.
what I am saying is that when I end up hearing about a lot of different clientele, mention was made by one of the staff, and I'm just trying to see if there is a lead there or there isn't. I don't go off of assumptions.
Well, I suppose it's worth investigating. Good thing I have an investigator on Watena.
Good thing you have a...
Investigator on Watena?
Mm.
You are my Watena, aren't you?
It would seem so for the time being.
Well, then please Watain.
I shall get to it, ma'am. Three nights later, he's a ghoul. And I think that's our time.
It is about that time, as I'm going to have to snooze. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I power napped before this session. I woke up, I slammed down some dinner, and we got going. So I will. I mean, I'm going to be up for a little bit, but I still will return to slumber here ere short. Or ere long, not ere short, or even ere Jordans. So yeah, I think that we are. Flannel. It's a regional dialect. That's it's an up and coming trend in our adventuring region. So yeah, it's. Okay. Oh, no. Go ahead. I was gonna recap the.
No, I'm just working on my pronunciation. Flannel.
Flannel. Yes. Flannel phantom.
I can hardly understand you when you talk in that accent.
Me or Maddie?
Both!
I think that's fabulous. The fact that we can end up having an entire conversation in that accent, and it's kind of turning into a hot fuzz moment where it's like, "Eh, what did he say? What did he say? We don't know. We just don't have any evidence."
I would also accept the pikeys from Snatch. It's fast, man.
They like dogs. They like dogs.
Oh, dogs. Yes, I like dogs.
I can't understand you.
Periwinkle blue. It's fair now.
This is just like Austin Powers in Goldmember.
Yeah.
Father! He's dad, yes. Yes. Oh, you mean father.
That's what I said, yes.
Yes, it has a freaky deaky Dutch accent.
All right, so there's no gathering of nerds tonight, but there are plans in the works for the nerds to convert to the new normal. And of course, there's Brisbane by night, or if you prefer, I mean, we have Camarilla and Camarilla. You could always say Brisbane by night, but other vampires might correct you on that. And
Lots of other vampires would correct you on that, sir.
So thank you for the game tonight. Just personally, I was looking forward. I was looking forward to it. Just as you all in the audience land know, and of course, I mean for the players, we had a chat during break. You know, these are strange times that we're in, and you know, we got to do the best with what we have. And if we make mistakes, or if we're feeling a period of sadness or discomfort or uncertainty, I mean, talk through it, work through it, and we got to do what we got to do. And so I'm very happy to have shared this. Now, for the rest of this week, I normally, about every 3-4 months, take a week to play an RPG video game on stream. Because there's things that we can learn from video games to bring to our tabletop. And of course, you know, many video games draw inspiration from tabletop. So on our Discord, I'll be asking you all which game you'd like me to play. There's a couple I have on Steam, or things that I can also download. Just remember, there's certain titles that I can't play, otherwise Twitch will have an aneurysm over it. But for Wednesday, for tomorrow, I'll open up the channel and we can have some table talk, or if any of you want to get some minis or capsules, I can do that. But I am going to have to close the channel early because I have a very first thing in the morning, 8 a.m. Doctor's appointment. And I got to get some sleep for that, and I got to be rested, especially after
be rested, de-stress.
Yeah. So it will not go long. The channel will be open for like an hour and a half or whatever. And we'll talk and have fun, or maybe y'all can help me decide the video game and I can name the character or something. Nothing too much. I'm not going to go late with it because I have to rest for this. You know, I want to be...
shortly after your stream though, Matty, they could always come to San Antonio by night.
That's true.
Yes.
That is
San
true.
Antonio.
And we'll make sure to come over and give y'all a raid then, when we're buttoning everything up.
The end of season 1 vignettes tomorrow.
Yeah.
Starting season 2 in April.
Good.
Yes. Season 2 is called The Oncoming Storm.
I think I have an emote for this. Hang on. There we go.
I'm probably going to be posting a recap episode on my YouTube, so be looking out for that too.
And thank you for sharing that with us. When any of you go live, Nerds or Drawing on the Macabre or Detroit by Night, Caffeine Fixes or San Antonio. And then if Bright or if I'm sorry, Fluffy or Dark Wolf ever do want to get into broadcasting, you know that you can always share with us as well. But thank you for sharing that. But yeah, I think it's time to get things wrapped up for this evening. Flannel, Death Angel. By the way, hi Death. I don't know if I said hello to you. Baloo's Clues. Thank you for the fun commentary. Howdies and shout outs and love and salutes and all this other stuff to you for being a part of this. And I mean, we'll be around on Discord. In fact, if any of you haven't joined, there's a link for you. And let's find someone that we can raid. I like supporting the community as much as I can, which is why we normally would go for the nerds here. You know, we were talking with oh, that is the wrong window. Hang on a second. We're talking with Power Blocks earlier, who gifted that sub. And let's see, his community is up and streaming, playing a game called Half-Life Alyx. Is that out already? That's not like Half-Life 3, is it?
No, Half-Life Alyx is a VR experience.
Oh.
So.
Well then, let's go and raid and say hi in return. Not too early. Well, I mean, I guess early in some regards, Death, because many evenings I haven't been going to bed until later than what I really ought to. But I want to be better about that. I gotta practice self-care. I know. I gotta rest.
Self-care is important,
especially in these trying
times. But I don't
times.
want to practice. No, I really should. I don't want to. I don't want to come across
because
actually fighting
if you tax yourself, you're gonna get sick.
It is tax season. No.
Not anymore. They postponed it.
Oh, that's true. So we actually So we don't have to tax ourselves.
Well, as a business owner, you have to pay quarterly, right? So I don't know if that affects you or not.
I got to talk to my accountant about how this is gonna work.
Take care, everybody.
We're all. I think we're all just waiting for someone to say something or precedent of some kind to be set. But all right. Anyway, let's go raid, and I will see y'all around.